I'm on a mission to go from part-time to full-time when it comes to being an artist, illustrator / designer. This is going to be a quick status update just to document my progress and to see how I've gotten on over the last few days / week. It's been slow, so business as usual so far as what I currently have in place, so far as managing to sell a few of my art prints on my website and one through Amazon, I think, and a t-shirt. I think I sold two t-shirts through eBay. So it's good. It's something. It's better than nothing. The work is there. The bits I've done up until this point is out there, available to people that can find it. And I'm kind of convinced now that I'm at a point where I've basically done about as much as I can do with the things that I've put out so far. The content, the type of artwork I've done, and yeah, I kind of haven't achieved the goal. I'm not in a position at this moment in time where I can say, yep, it's good, the business is going great, it's paying all my bills, it's keeping me ticking over, or I can see growth, or I can see a future. I can't answer yes to those questions, so I'm trying to figure out how I can do that. And I don't think it's easy, because I'm at a point where I feel like I haven't just sat around procrastinating. Not entirely. I've done a little bit of that. Well, I've done a lot of that, but I've also made some plans to do some things, to get some bits online, to put a portfolio together, and to market it to the best of my limited knowledge. And every day I might sort of log in to a social media platform, maybe even something like YouTube, and watch the occasional video saying, oh, how can you improve upon what you're doing? How can you get more of whatever? How can you better your situation? And, it's okay. But I mean, all these types of advice videos are pretty much the same. It's, you can do it, go out and do things. It's all common sense stuff, like don't give up and keep going and, post more on social media or just be more active or whatever. Then you can do that, but from my past experience doing the art thing part-time has sort of convinced me that more is just not good enough. Because it's kind of like, if I know that, let's just say I can make £100 if I spend 2 hours working on social media posts, for example, maybe 2 hours gets me £100. If I know that if I then do 4 hours, it's going to equal £200. It might mean that I'll get £120. If I work 6 hours, it might mean 140. If I work 8 hours, a full day, it might mean that I'll get back £150, something like that. There's a diminishing return on the amount of effort that I put in. So yeah, doing more is, it's part of the puzzle, especially if what you're doing is putting in an hour a day. Obviously, you're not really going to get very far in life or achieve much of anything if you can only invest in an hour a day. I guess some people, that's all you got, and you got to start somewhere. But yeah, the more time you can invest in any venture, the better. And some things like art are it's such a difficult thing to make a living from that you're either going to be forced to just do it part-time, because like I say, there's only enough work there to do it part-time, and I'm not going to, the diminishing return means I'm not going to be able to survive unless there's another, secondary income source. Or there's just a lot that has to be done in order to really stand out, I think. So I know I'm a position where I don't really stand out. I'm struggling to figure out where to go, what to do. And I'm probably going to be checking in every so often just to say those exact same things, Still on the road to success, still finding it difficult, but I'm not giving up. Which is one of the cornerstones, like I say, that you'll get in the sort of the tips to success type videos that people might say. So I'm doing something right. But yeah, it's been difficult. I've still got this flu / cold illness thing. It's been lingering now for weeks and weeks, and it's making things difficult, just not having enough energy. I don't know what to do at this point. It's not like I'm eating bad, and I if I just fixed my diet, things could be better. Sleep's okay, as good as it can be, I guess. Stress levels aren't too bad compared to other times in my life, for sure. It really just seems to be a lingering sort of cold. I know a few other people that have pretty much got the same thing, so I know that it's a thing that's going around, and it kind of is there. But yeah, it just seems to affect me worse. I don't know if I've got some sort of issue, immunity issues or something, some genetic predisposition to stop me from being able to recover quite so well. But yeah, it really feels like there's not much I can do. And then the other day, or a couple of days ago, I managed to dislocate my knee, which was very painful to say the least, until I could click it back into where it needed to go. But it's still, I strained. I think it's the ACL ligament or one of the side ligaments on my knee, which has been pulled and is. I mean, I can walk on it, but it just hurts. I have to be very careful when I bend it, and like I normally sit in weird seating positions where my feet aren't necessarily on the floor, but yeah, like kind of cross-legged on a chair. So I have to be careful not to do that, or if I do, that I don't sit on my legs, but I kind of sit back a bit. Anyway, it makes sense to me. But yeah, that's a bit of an annoyance. And then yesterday, I managed to just strain my back doing stretches, which is the whole point. So every morning I get up, I have a little stretch routine just to sort of ease me into the day. And in doing that, I think that caused me to get some issue, a slight herniation, bulge or something with my back, because it got pretty bad later that night where I couldn't actually sleep. I ended up sleeping on the floor, or trying to sleep on the floor, because that was the only thing that made it hurt less. But even that it was a tough night. So yeah, okay, maybe there was that one night of poor sleep, but yeah, what do you do when you just have all these issues? Like you think, right, okay, I'm having a bit of a problem, I need to change it. And if you're having a bit of a problem, it's probably because there's already some issue there to begin with. So, if anyone has a problem with anything, like if there's something in their life that they want to change, it's normally because there's been some kind of destructive habit or lifestyle that kind of needs fixing. And then on top of that, you're trying to then find a path forward, like a proactive, positive part, to be able to do the new thing that you want to do. And that's hard enough as itself. But what do you do when you're just ill? On top of it, you have some illness or ailments that stop you from doing things. You can't. In an ideal world, you want to be getting out of the house every day and doing a bit of exercise and staying healthy. But sometimes you can't do that, and then you've got that to contend with. So yeah, it's just life, though, isn't it? Things aren't fair. Things aren't always going to go your way, and there's just going to be things that happen. But sometimes you're like, oh, you know what? I really wish that you could just get a break, But nothing new there, really. So, yeah, I mean, I'm at a stage where I realise I'm procrastinating a little bit, and I don't quite know what to do for the best so far as the kind of commercial side of things goes. So I'm at a point where I'm sort of stagnated a little bit, and I'm just ticking over, like I say, with a couple of these small online sales. But something needs to change. Where exactly I go from here is still a bit of a mystery. In the meantime, I've been slowly chipping away at this 2-player head-to-head card game. Mentioned it in the last video. Quite excited about it, but at the same time, it takes time. Funnily enough, I watched a video, someone else talking about, should you work for free as an artist, as an illustrator specifically? And obviously the answer is most of the time no. If you do that, you're going to get taken advantage of. Everyone promises exposure. And the people that promise exposure instead of money for work are always the people that can't even give you that. They have 100 followers on a social media platform, and okay, you're going to tell your 100 followers that's going to, what's that going to amount to? I mean, as someone with, for example, tens of thousands of followers on my Instagram account, for example, that doesn't mean anything. I can post to people that at least kind of care about what I'm doing to some degree, about me and what I'm working on, and even they don't really care. Like, you know, if I post up to say, oh, I've got this thing, would anyone like to buy it? Most the vast majority of people are like, look, I'm not here to buy, I'm just here to like subscribe and follow you and see what artwork you're producing, see what you're doing, rather than be an active kind of consumer of your, or a paid consumer of your products, which is fine. But yeah, it's a funny thing, the whole exposure thing. There's always there's that quote, you know, people die of exposure, so why would you want exposure? The only time you'd want exposure would be if you, I mean, it would have to be big. It would have to be by one of the big companies that could afford to pay you easily if they wanted to, but they're just being tight. And then, do you want to work for them knowing that they've got more than enough money to pay you what you typically need? It's difficult. I mean, I've always been of the position that you should never work for free for anything. Although I do realise, or I did sort of learn, that in some employed jobs, it's probably a good idea to do some work for free. So as an artist, if I knew I was going to apply for a position as a full-time graphic designer or a illustrator or something within a company, then I might give them some freebies just to sort of show that I'm interested, show that I'm willing to try and put myself ahead of thousands of other potential applicants that aren't going to do that. Because once you're in there, it's like, well, you could potentially get work for the next decade, 10, 20 years, 30 years, lifetime, if the company's still going and you're still happy working there and staying there. So it's a big deal, but for one-off freelance, self-employed type jobs, I would never recommend anyone work for free. Yeah, I mean, I've done a little something. So I did work on this character. So this guy. He's for my Total Blast board game. He's one of the characters who you can pick at the start. So everyone has a character. They choose who they want to be, or they can be randomly ascribed a character. And I was just working on, over the last few days, just inking it, just making it look neater, tidier, laying down the flat tones, ready to give it some rendering and some colouring. So it's a little something. It's a little bit of progress, and this is the thing. It's just a slow bit of progress. Just, you know, you go from even just drawing a character and then neatening it up can take quite a long time. So I guess it's difficult to sometimes feel like you are making progress when progress is just so slow. You want to feel as though, right, okay, I've got this goal. I want to start, you know, moving forward. I want to see signs that I'm moving forward. Even people that, well, certainly with YouTube, for example, since I'm on YouTube, this video, this talk is about, it's the idea, like I've said in a previous video, isn't to just put a video out and then go viral and make a load of money or something. It's to do a series of videos. You know, you create a channel, you don't just create a video. If you want to pursue something on YouTube, it's the same with any kind of social media feed. Could be like an Instagram or a TikTok. You're not just there to put out one or two things. You're ideally there to put out a series, and no one's really going to care about anything you put out until you're 50, 100, 200, 300 videos in, maybe having done the whole video production thing for 5 years. Didn't used to be quite that way, you know. I think after a year and 50 videos, you could have got to a point where you're like, okay, things are working out. Maybe you still can, but certainly this style of video where it's just me talking on a poor quality webcam to virtually no one. It's I'm very aware of the fact that this is not going to get me views, followers, or anything, and I don't really care too much. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to have to think I've said before, I don't want to have to do this high quality, glossy production with lots of post-production edits and things. Not just yet, maybe once I feel like the message of what I've got to say is stronger. But as with all these kind of rants, sometimes it's just thinking up thoughts on the fly, and then sometimes I say things, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I think I agree with what I just said. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm going, well, most of the time I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. So when I start talking either to the camera or to people, I'm about as surprised as they are of what I've just said. I don't know what's going to happen. Someone will say something in a conversation, and then I'll respond with something. But I didn't know before they said their thing, or even as soon as I was about to respond, exactly what I was going to say. I might have knew the sentiment before opening my mouth, but so much of conversation and talking is robotic and automatic. And yeah, I mean, what I'm doing now is it's not scripted. I don't have any major sort of topics to talk about. It's just to update and say that things aren't really going anywhere, and despite that, still trying to do a few little bits. But yeah, and I guess this one is just basically saying don't work for free, and if you are in a situation where you don't have any work and you want some, just work on personal stuff. That's what I'm doing. Just while you have, and if you have the time, I guess it doesn't help. Like, it doesn't help just to sort of not necessarily sharpen your skills. I don't feel like at the moment with my merchant character for this game, I'm not sharpening my skills. I'm just somewhat maintaining it. It's like going to the gym. If I just do a light workout once or twice a week, that's not going to make me super fit or super muscular and strong, but it's going to maintain to some small degree, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm doing here. And I guess maybe that's just similar to where I'm at now. I think everything is somewhat of a maintenance, but that's not necessarily something to feel bad about, because if you're very kind of stagnated or you haven't really gotten anywhere and you want to start going somewhere, it can be quite difficult even to just maintain sort of a moderate level of good habits. So I think there's something to be said for just, if you can just get out of bed in the morning, go through a routine. If you can clothe yourself, feed yourself, try and stay reasonably healthy and maintain sort of relationships with people around you and work on something that at least you find valuable, then that's good. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm managing to do, which is great. But you can't live off of intention and maintenance. I think I'm learning that at some point something's got to give, and I don't think the solution is to work harder. Like I say, it's more to work smarter, and it's more to figure out where to go and what to do exactly, what direction to take. And sometimes when you don't know what direction to take, sometimes just taking a direction is better than nothing, in my opinion. So that's why I have decided to just do a status update, despite the fact that I have no plan. I'm not gonna, and this is one of those weird things where it's like, I know, let's just say, talk about, since this is a video, if I wanted success with this video, it's like, well, are you going to do the things that are going to get you success? Are you going to produce a better quality of video? Are you going to actually provide some kind of value? So this has virtually no value, I'm sure. But yeah, that's something that I'll probably need to think about. It's probably worth thinking about. I think we'll see how it goes. At this stage, for me personally, it's just a case of checking in. It's checking in, and then, if no one watches this, it's fine. But if anyone watches it, that's fine. The main thing is just to do the thing, to maintain to some degree, and then yeah, it just seems like, yeah, it seems like it's better than nothing. So that's where I'm at. I'm kind of at a bit of a semi-stagnated way. To some degree, it's because of these issues I said about the health, I guess you could say. Some of that's procrastination, and some of the procrastination is probably. I mean, this is another thing. It's like people will advise, this is how to avoid procrastination. You need to stop doing the things that are preventing you from getting where you need to get, or you need to do the things that are going to get you to where you want to go. But there's obviously a real part of you that wants the procrastination. And you can't necessarily just cut that out. That's like cutting half of your self away. Funnily enough, I saw this film in the cinema recently called Substance, which was about kind of trying to cut your better half away and create a separate you, a better you. Anyway, to anyone that likes weird, really disturbing, gross, gory, funny, interesting, but kind of at the same time, just I don't even know what to describe that film as, but it's made me think quite a bit recently, for weird reasons that I wouldn't have expected, having just watched, sort of seen what it was about. But yeah, so I've got a part of me that wants to procrastinate. So I don't want to be disrespectful to that genuine part of me that's saying, not procrastinating, but there's something. What I'm trying to say is there's something there. I think if you don't want to do something, that not wanting to do it part of you should be sort of listened to and scrutinised and reflected upon. And that's something that I'm trying to do, and trying to sort of, well, I mean, it's hard to know exactly how you think and then to be able to manipulate that how you think exactly, because you're kind of just you for the most part. You're kind of like just a pre-programmed deterministic organism that's just going through its programmed set of rules and habits and existence based on the genetics you've got and the upbringing you've had. And by the time you're an adult, I'm wondering if you can ever really change. It seems like, I'm sure there's plenty of examples of people that said, I turned my life around. But I wonder how many people have thought about turning their lives around and it just hasn't happened. Probably most people. And I think most people, we're all similar in that we all want to not just survive, but we kind of want to thrive and do really well. And I guess maybe some people are more sort of stereotypically ambitious than others. Some people want a lower, not standard of living, but are more satisfied with less things than other people. Doesn't have to be material things, but it could just be like less stuff going on in their lives. So everyone wants different things, but generally we don't. Like, no one is born into this world or starts to grow up and thinks, you know what, I really want to fuck my life up. I really want a shit life, and fingers crossed. If we do, if humanity thought that, most of us would be successful, ironically. So yeah, I think we all want everything to go well, but for most people, I think if you ask most people, are you completely satisfied in every aspect of your life? And if you maybe broke it down and said, is your relationship with your partner or your kids or your parents or your friends or acquaintances at work, your friends, whatever, is every one of those relationships about as good as it can be? I don't think most people would say yes. It might be that they've made it as good as it can be given what they had. If they just had crap parents growing up, or whatever it was, it's like, well, maybe given that, you tried to make the best of a bad situation. But I'm sure a lot of us would like things to be as ideal as they could in every aspect of life, so that we could do the things that we wanted to do. I guess most people. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can optimize not just the art and career side of life, but other aspects as well. And yeah, I'm just dealing with the things that are going on with me at the same time. So we're not all just like, we're kind of like blank slate starting at the same point. We're having the same experiences. We're all born exactly the same out of the same genetic material, with the same talents, ambitions, and upbringings. So yeah, we've all been given a hand. We're trying to play it the best we can. So that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. So hopefully I'll have some more success to report shortly. I've still got this comic convention coming up at the end of the month, so fingers crossed that's a good one. And if not, either way, I'm sure I'll probably report back and update with how I got with that. So that's that for now.